Keefe interview. I mean, you can't just not mention that. No one could really run with anything but that. Only firsthand account. And the important part is that his story also perfectly matches up with everyone else who was there. I feel like kind of solved, even though people like you already knew, for the public, I feel it ultimately solved that unsolved case.
Well, certainly we had the MGM tape that shows Tupac Shakur getting into a fight with a Southside Crip named Orlando Anderson. We were able to verify that there were other Southside Crips with Orlando Anderson out in Las Vegas. We saw this very well-established association between the Southside Crips and Bad Boy Records. The primary ones that we were interested in were the ones that were in the white Cadillac. The witnesses in Tupac's murder all identified that there was this white Cadillac that was the one that drove up alongside Suge and Tupac and started shooting.
We coming up, what's that, Flamingo? Yeah, I think that's Flamingo. And he happened to be hanging out the window. He was hanging out the window like he was in a parade.
Okay. And Keefe was Orlando's uncle?
That is correct. Keefe was Orlando's uncle. He was the one that sat down and provided the information. He identified his nephew as sitting directly behind him. He identified the driver as Terrence Brown, and then the fourth passenger, or the fourth occupant, DeAndre Smith, as sitting in the left rear passenger seat.
And we just came, and shit. It looked like he was reaching. Once he got to reaching, I got to ducking. He started shooting back. Suge just ducked his head, and the first bullet went in his head. I thought he was dead.
The night Tupac was shot, I was a sergeant on the strip, and I was the first one there at the scene, and I held Tupac as he spoke his last words. Night was going along doing its thing, and all of a sudden, two other officers came out on the air and yelled that there were shots fired at the corner of Koval and Flamingo. It turns out there's 14 shots, so in a very short period of time. So, very quick, loud, hard, violent shooting. They come out in the air, shots fired, and they say there's like 6 vehicles fleeing from the scene. So all the 6 vehicles take off towards the strip. Suge Knight is running around. Well, Suge Knight had been shot in the head, and what had happened is his scalp was penetrated, but not his skull. So he's literally got blood flying out the side of his head, but he's running around like nothing's happening, like he's fine, like he doesn't even feel it, he don't even care, and the blood is shooting out the side of his head.
And the next ones hit him. It was like he was doing a breakdance, trying to jump in the back seat or something. Yeah. Like, damn. What the fuck? It looked like he was trying to jump in the, but it was, bullets was in his hand. He was reaching, and it looked like, he was trying to jump in the back seat or something. He was like breakdancing or some shit.
How would you even see Tupac reach for anything if you're driving behind him?
We wasn't driving behind, I tell you, we was side by side at the light.
Oh, okay. You guys were already side by side when it happened.
Then some chicks was in the sea breeze, started following, a white sea breeze, ragtop sea breeze.
Their window got shot out.
Front windshield, yeah.
So we were primarily interested in the occupants of the Cadillac. We were able to identify them as Dwayne Keefe Davis, a guy named DeAndre Smith, another guy named Terrence Brown, and lastly Orlando Anderson, which was the one that Tupac had been in a fight with earlier.
So Tupac's car is like right in the middle of that entourage. They left the scene. They're trying to get out of there as fast as they could. They had hit a curb and blown out both of the right-hand side tires of their vehicle. If you look at the rims of that car, his rims are smashed into the point where the tires went flat. So he hit the curb hard. But so right at Harmon in the strip, they go to hang a left on Harmon. The whole entourage does. Well, they're going too fast. They're going too fast, and their tires are blown out. So when they go to hang a left in the intersection, they kind of spin out, lose control of the vehicle, and the whole entourage comes to a stop. As soon as everybody stops, their doors pop open, and you get like 8 guys all of a sudden standing there, and there's kind of like I pulled out, I don't know what's going on. I pulled out my gun, trying to yell at everybody to get on the ground. It's a tense moment right there. So everybody's out of the car, but I look and there's one guy still sitting in a car. And when I approach the car, I could see it's got bullet holes. There's the handle of the car. It's got bullet holes all around the handle, tight grouping. The passenger's window is shot and broken. And there's also bullet holes in the windshield. So I tried to pull open the door. At first, I couldn't get it open. I think what had happened is the bullets had damaged the mechanism for the door latch. So I yanked on it a little bit. So it's had a lot of gunshots. Finally, the door popped open. Well, what had happened was, as it turns out, it's Tupac inside. Well, he's leaning against the door. So when I pulled open the door, he kind of fell out with the door, kind of slumped out with the door as I opened it.